Your workspace is under attack might be a little bit dramatic for this, but today's guest is Jane Sartin from FlexSA, and there's a whole business rates thing going on that has been going on for a while, which we'll get to in this episode. This podcast is like a instruction manual and companion to all the other things that are floating around our corner of LinkedIn and the internet now. The main call to action is email your MP, and we'll tell you how to do that in this podcast. Also, in the show notes at the end, there is a link to sign up for the waitlist for our 2026, I always get that wrong, February 2026. There'll be 150 co-working community builders all gathering for one day in London. All we're going to do is talk to each other, and we're going to share things like how to deal with business rates, how to make your local authority understand more the value of your co-working space to the local economy, the local civic infrastructure, and just all the other little things that come up with building a community, being part of the community, running a co-working space, and generally staying alive in 2026. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Jane Sartin. Hello, folks. This may be one of the most important co-working values podcasts ever. In the studio today is Jane Sartin. Jane, for the few people that don't know what you do for your day job, what are you known for, and what would you like to be known for?
I'm the executive director of the Flexible Space Association, which is the trade body for the flexible workspace industry, co-working, serviced offices, related services across the UK. We exist to represent the industry. We operate as a membership body, but we play a wider role than that as well in terms of the whole industry.
How long has that been? That was called something else before, wasn't it? It's been around a long time.
I took on the role at the beginning of 2019 when it was known as the Business Centre Association. It's existed. Someone mentioned this recently, so I should have looked it up more accurately. It's at least 25 years, and it actually started out with a slightly different name again. We changed the name because obviously the industry was evolving, and hopefully flexible space encompasses all types. Business centres are still important part of our membership, but there are other operators that wouldn't describe themselves in that way.
Yeah, I thought there must have been a big debate about how to transition that. I think you've done it beautifully. It feels very like on the pulse of the industry. So we're here today to talk about the whole, I'm going to call it business rates thing. So what is we'll get straight into it. Like, what is the VOA actually doing? That's the question.
Yeah. Valuation Office Agency. This is the second time around that we've dealt with this issue in recent years. To sort of start with, we had exactly the same issue in 2023. Worked really hard then to resolve it, managed to resolve it probably without that many people really becoming aware it was as big a problem as it was. So what they but it came back again in spring of this year, and what they are doing is stopping the individual assessment of serviced offices and assessing the whole building or floor or with the class of space taken by the flexible workspace as a single hereditament, which is a very hard word to say. I had to rush into that, and that has massive consequences. Probably the real headline one is it would mean that small businesses that are in a serviced office would no longer be eligible for small business rates relief, and operators would no longer be able to claim empty rates relief.
Can we just emphasise that this is, because someone's actually said this to me, I've only just heard of this. Why wouldn't have people held this before? And why would some co-working or flexible people, I'm going to say workspace operators forever now, workspace operators be reluctant to be shouting about this from the treetops?
Yeah, so when we dealt with this in 2023, it was definitely the strategy to try and resolve it behind the scenes. And when we started out again on it this year, that was also the aim. The reality is, talking publicly about potentially businesses based in serviced offices no longer being eligible for reliefs, and the costs of running the centres increasing could clearly spook customers and potential customers. So in an ideal world, we would have once again have avoided it. And I think, in terms of the Flexible Space Association has talked a lot to our members about it this year. So those that have been regularly emailing all our member companies with updates. We did cover it at our conference in May, but we haven't been shouting about it beyond that until around a month ago, when we reached the conclusion that we just weren't getting the government to listen. We just kept being batted back to the VOA in particular and told that it was a matter for them and the ministers weren't going to get involved. And we realised that we were going to have to start bringing their attention to it by making a more public noise about it.
Because as I'm talking about this, and I made that little video in Google Notebook that's like a cartoon about the whole thing, and the title it came back with, which I just went because I couldn't spend all day, trying to make it. It said your workspace is under attack. Kind of, how serious is this? Like, I mean, I know it is serious, but is it, the end, like Roland Stanley called it an extinct, I can't even say it, extinction level. I'm going to, the word I mean, folks, but I'm just going to move on.
I mean, it is really serious. I think the other issue on this is that where the VOA decide that offices should be merged, that they can backdate to 2023 the business rates bill. I'm currently aware of 2 operators on the smaller size that have been handed £400,000 backdated bills, and that's obviously a phenomenal amount of money for any business. I think it is. Doesn't matter what the size of a workspace business. That sum is always going to be relative to the size of the business as well. So whether it's a really small business or some of the largest operators being hit with backdated business rates bills would clearly be business destroying.
I don't think people want to listen to a dissection of the business rates structure, but in COVID, one of the things that we found we had these little calls in the London Coworking Assembly, and one of the things was it was so confusing how local authorities managed business rates. And there was a thing about whether you're a hospitality event or an office, like how you're registered. And it is a minefield anyway. So do you find people kind of avoid getting into business rates things, or like is it something that people embrace?
Oh, it's horribly complicated. I mean, I've learned a lot even just this year, but I'm by no means an expert because it is such a complicated issue. And what I have learned is every operator deals with business rates in different ways as well. Most will handle them on behalf of their clients. A few don't. Just lots of different approaches really, which does make it really challenging. So I think, there's clearly frustrations when we saw during COVID and recently the retail and hospitality sector getting at times a better deal. And there's such a huge industry, and every industry is shouting for the best possible position to be in. And we're probably one of hundreds, but we have this really specific issue right now that we're trying to resolve.
I get this impression that every time something to do with co-working comes up, like nice people in government too, are like scratching their heads about what a co-working space is or the value it adds to a local area and all that sort of thing. So I would like to think that this is an opportunity for our industry to get noticed and it's, get recognised and validated by governments, local authorities and MPs to see, this is the value it adds to the area. Is that something you think will come out of this?
I would encourage anyone to, if their MP hasn't already visited them, then this isn't a reason right now to invite them. If they don't come on this, and obviously that diaries are really busy, do find a reason next year, because I think there is a value there. We are FlexSA is currently has commissioned some economic value research, which is being finalised at the moment. Particularly for this campaign, but I think it will live a life beyond that, because I think it has been difficult to make clear the value of the sector, but also not everyone understands it. I mean, certainly when I joined, took on my current job and telling friends and family what I was going to do, people weren't really aware of. Apart from sort of biggest names in the industry, weren't too aware of it. But I think increasingly, we are seeing particularly smaller co-working spaces on high streets and some of the larger names as well, taking on old retail space and becoming a bit more visible. And it is a sector that's growing. So hopefully that is changing naturally anyway. But I do think we also have a task to make sure that people understand what it's about and the value to the economic growth and as well as local economies.
Slightly putting you on the spot here, but you don't have to answer, is I've been, for a long time, I quoted this thing, which I actually discovered was from a McKinsey report in like 2009, someone like that. And it was like, for every pound, so it's not like for every pound generated in a local economy, a co-working space generates £2.50, but that was like really out of date. But
not a figure I have, I'm afraid. I mean, we will, as I say, we will get, I don't know whether that will be a specific piece of data, but we will get a lot of data from this piece of work that is underway at the moment. So,
yeah, I was enthusiastically quoting that until someone pointed out how old it was for me, which was like shameful. What is it? Like, how can, I know, it sounds like a TV show. How can people get involved, Jane? Like, what's the best thing people can do?
I mean, if people haven't already, I would definitely encourage them to write to their MP. FlexSA has an MP engagement toolkit, which I know you've shared with your community. Happy for that to be shared more widely. That's just to give a bit of help. I think the key thing, though, and I would say this, it doesn't matter what you're trying to write to your MP about, if it's particularly if it's a national issue is making it local, so making it relevant to their constituency and to the number of people that are using the space, the number of businesses that are involved, where relevant, the number of staff that are employed, although that's usually a reasonably low number. And actually the real importance is the number of businesses that spaces support. So I think doing that it is definitely really important now. We just need we're already seeing it, and I know that many FlexSA members over the last month or so have been writing to MPs, inviting them in, and making clear what the impact of this would be to their constituency.
So when with that writing to your MP thing, I love writing to Wes, but about anything. But how much of a meal do you need to make of it? Because part of me. Is it write a 3-page epic of every detail, or is it like one line and linked to something?
I'm a big believer in trying to keep things succinct, no matter what it is, for people to actually read them. I think your best chance of reading is to make sure somebody of it being read is that all the important information is in it, but it's succinct. So, I mean, these days people are going to be writing emails rather than letters, so this isn't really the same. But I mean, I would think ideally you don't really want to be going to, if it was writing a letter in the traditional sense, no more than a page of A4, so they don't have to turn on to the next page. I think sort of bearing that in mind with an email. And I think, just making it locally relevant. I think that's really key when you're writing to your MP. And not just, I mean, it's just, we provided some guidance, but we've really encouraged people not to just copy and paste the letter that we've provided, because particularly where campaigns start, taking off a bit more, and there's lots of people writing to the same MP. If they're just seeing the same text coming through multiple times, they're much less likely to pay attention to it.
That's what I was going to get you to say too. I think that's really important. I think the way to catch someone's eye is to not look the same as everyone else when they get. If you're good at writing sales letters, folks, this is just nudging this up your inbox is a good way to go. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but I've been saying to people, when Jane walks into the room with a minister, if there's 30,000 emails from co-working space people, that will be a much quicker and easier conversation than if there's 3. Could you say a bit about that, the confidence it will give you in the room?
Absolutely. I mean, I think, we need to, if it's just me and the small number of representatives that we're going to have in that meeting, but having behind that a real push and people explaining what this will do to their business is through their MPs, definitely makes it more powerful. And we know that, I mean, I was able, I've attended a meeting a few weeks ago that the CBI ran with their business rates group, which I've been diligently turning up to this year, and it's definitely paid dividends, because I was given a few minutes to to lay out our case in a room full of many, many industries and many companies far, far bigger than any in our industry. And so I was able to make that case to him. And he said, I am aware of this. I know. And I've had a number of letters on this. And this is, that's maybe 5 or so weeks ago. And I know a lot more people have written then. So he's already aware. I heard from somebody else just yesterday that they had met him at something. And he said, oh, yes, I've got a meeting with them next week. So he's definitely aware of the issue, which I think is helpful.
And is there so if I'm not a co-working space owner, say I sell software or door locks or furniture, other people that are dependent on this industry. And also I would say, definitely not being fluffy, they're part of the community of the industry.
Absolutely.
What could they do to help that's like realistic? Because, I'm often in DMs going, oh, got to support this. And I don't really tell them anything useful. Like saying, you got to support this is a bit of a crap way to get people involved. How could all those other people get involved?
Oh, no, and there are going to be so many industries that have some kind of link to our sector. I mean, FlexSA has a category of membership specifically for what we call service provider members. So those are companies providing goods and services into the industry. And they will absolutely see them as they are an integral part of the industry. Many spaces run with technology that's bespoke to running Workspace. Vending services, cleaning services. So there's so many other industries that play a part in it. And obviously that's in the ongoing survival of our industry is important to their ongoing survival. But I think they also have strong insights into the value of the sector as well that they can share.
And what is, just for everybody, I know this is like spelling it out, what's the best thing people can share online about this? Is there a particular page or, is it resharing your posts? Because that, like a lot of time people are like, I don't know what to do, so they don't do anything. What's a quick win?
Yeah, I mean, I do think the most powerful thing is definitely writing to the MP right now. I mean, I think that's the thing in getting the MP. And I think that's got the most value because we are targeting the minister, the treasury and the VOA, but the sort of part of that are the people with the decision making powers on this, the people that can actually make the difference. I think sharing, particularly where contact has been made already, and where if you've had an MP visiting, that's happened, would be a good thing to do. And the sort of real life stories. I think I understand that that many operators are anxious about going too public with their individual circumstances. But there have been, there's been at least one case in the national press about an operator who has got a large backdated bill. And that is the most powerful things, to be honest, are where this is the real life situation. And we have struggled a bit, to be honest, at FlexSA to be able to get those real life situations. So I think, if anybody is willing to, if anyone has got backdated bills that we don't know about, that would be hugely helpful, even if we use that information anonymously, which we have done with others. So being able to say, this isn't just a sort of theoretical thing that might happen, it's something that's already happening. It's really important.
There's, I think, as cheesy as it is, a little photo of like RMP visited today. You don't even have to say it's because of business rates and the end of the industry, but that is a good thing for everyone knowing what's going on. Also, folks, there's the LinkedIn co-working group, which is only 8,000 people as opposed to LinkedIn, which is like billions of people. And don't put anything personal in there, but that's a good place. There's a thread at the top of that group, so tagging each other in there and saying what's going on in a way that's appropriate to a public group is a good way of sharing information. Is there one thing I forgot to ask earlier? What is the timeline on this?
That we did like this resolved 6 months ago. I mean, as I say, we've got a meeting next week, really important. We're not very clear if that's a sort of first discussion where we'll start to explore things, and we might go away and come have questions that we need to consider a bit more, and the same for the minister, or whether this is a sort of one-off hit. But Yeah, I mean, it just needs resolving. I think that, yeah, the other problem that we are absolutely making clear is that this is halting investment in the industry from the industry as well. So I'm absolutely aware of operators that have, did have expansion plans, but have put those on hold, or refurbishment plans, or we're going to open a new location. And the current uncertainty is putting them off doing that. And that really puts urgency into this. Because it's one thing waiting to see, are my business rates bills going to change, which is kind of an unknown bit at the moment. I should say the VOA are not actively going out trying to do anything right now. They have said that. So I don't think people should panic. But there is clearly urgency on all sorts of fronts to resolving it. And we've been making that crystal clear for months now.
That's ace. That investment thing, didn't even think of that. Thank you for highlighting that. So where's the best place to keep track with you and connect with you online and the whole, FlexSA website and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I should say, because of the way we've approached this, we're not going out posting publicly regular updates. We are sharing updates with one or two people each of our member companies, but not going out there broadcasting each step, because I don't think that would necessarily be helpful. But we will absolutely work to try and share a bit more any progress that we're making on these that we are. Flexible Space Association is on LinkedIn, SMI, and it's not something that we particularly covered in our website. And it is just the approach. A lot of this would, as we've already covered, it would have been better to have covered this behind the scenes, and we have now moved to a more public approach, but I don't think we necessarily will be able to cover every single step that we take. And hopefully there'll be some positive update after next week's meeting, but I can't guarantee that. It might just be that this is a listening exercise for the minister, and then we have to come back again in January to actually feel that we're making progress on it. That
makes really good sense. There's, it's not exactly, I can't imagine a Christmas campaign around this, but so folks, if you as we said here, the best thing to do is email your MP, and in the show notes there'll be a link to download the very well laid out and email your MP toolkit. I would also, and this has come up in other podcasts and conversations around this, getting together with other people in your area and talking about how to do that, or even if you sit down and write it all together, the more letters MPs get about this, the stronger Jane's case will be when she walks into that room. When is it? Is it next week?
It is. It's Monday, but I would say that's obviously pretty soon now.
Yeah.
Don't feel like that's a deadline, because as much as I'd love to think that one meeting is going to fix it, realistically, I suspect it's not, and it's probably an opening meeting. So yes, it would be great for people to get something off the ground now, but it's not a deadline. So I'm afraid this is likely to continue.
And we will put a link to Jane's LinkedIn and the FlexSA website in the show notes. And also there's a link to the LinkedIn co-working group there. And there's also European Co-working Day coming up, where there's a link to that as well. All these things are about there's a big opportunity here, as I said earlier, to get the value of a co-working or a flexible workspace even more recognised by your local authority, and that is already happening in a lot of places. We posted about Lewisham and how Blue Garage and FaceWorks ran the whole Changemakers and Lewisham thing. So it's not a new thing, but every little step towards this campaign and helping our industry grow is really important. So wherever you are in the world, be careful out there. It is a jungle. Thanks for your time and attention today, folks. Jane, do you want to say goodbye? Any last words?
I'd say it's been good to talk to you. I wish it wasn't on this subject. I wish it was on better things. But thanks for highlighting it, Bernie, because I think that's been really important. So thank you.
And thanks for just doing it, because I'm very happy to be cheerleading this, but I could never hold my own in a minister like you do. Okay, cheers, folks. Bye.